Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning, question and answer Friday. Always fun. How do you like my little Christmas tree in the back? Okay. How are you guys doing? Okay, who's number one on the hit parade today? In rainy Oshawa is Kevin. Good morning. Cape Breton. Good morning. Mike from Norland. Nativity. Good morning. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Nellie. Anybody got any snow? I know they got lots in Northern Ontario. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. And Olive, good morning from Oregon. Micheline, Brahim, Portland, Oregon. Donna, Park Hill. Wendy, Markham. Yeah, good morning, guys. We appreciate you. Zian, good morning. Two Zians. One from Ottawa, one from Sudbury. Serpa. Yeah, lots of snow in Dali. And Donna, good morning. Fran, Orangeville. Lots of snow in Orangeville. Just rain in Oshawa, eh, Kev? Jeanette, Sharon, lots of snow. Margaret, Nova Scotia. Anne, St. Catharines. Any snow there? Donna, Bell Valley. Sturgeon Falls, Alma. Nellie, snow still falling. Nick, good morning from our staff. Maggie, from Florida. Nope, no snow there. Tina, good morning. Jocelyn, Baxter. Mary, good morning. And Deborah from Oklahoma. Well, good morning, Oklahoma. Pablo and Doc McEwen from West Tennessee. No snow there yet, right? Elizabeth, good morning. Diane, she said she had to shovel heavy snow. Yolande, bonjour. Sandy, Washington State. And Anne is saying, nope, no snow in St. Catharines. Veronica, good morning. Corrine from Nouveau-Brunswick. Maria, good morning. And Milika, good morning. Peggy, Niagara Falls. And Mary, good morning. We appreciate you guys. Arlene, how is you? Okay. Susan, North York. And Ticker, moving too fast. Yeah, it does for me too. Darlene. Okay, guys. We appreciate you. Jean, good morning to you. PTBO, where's that? Okay, Zian, bonjour. And Joe in Duncan, BC. Okay, let's get to these questions, guys, or we'll never get done. Okay, Paula, are floaters, eye floaters, caused by Candida? Possibly. The biggest thing, and I always say this, repeat, Paula, at the end of the day, anything in your eyes is usually circulation. I always attribute, like, look, make sure you get a floater, make sure you don't have a detached retina. I mean, that's possible. But even when that happens, you know what? Circulation. What makes the eyes healthy? Healthy circulation. I guess Candida, to some extent, I don't know the connection. I've been trying to, leaky gut, leaky eyes, possibly. But again, I'm big on circulation, microcirculation. Your eyes that's why diabetics always have so much trouble with their eyes. Insulin is a big problem with microcirculation. And oxidation, aging of those blood vessels. Cut the sugar out. Big factor there, okay? Now, Linda. And actually, Linda and Carol, I'm going to answer the two questions together. Linda, I don't know if this is the real Linda or not. Would you kindly explain the difference between Antarctic krill oil versus DHA upgrade? Does the krill oil reduce triglycerides more effectively and thin the blood? Okay, and then Carol is asking, hearing a lot of Facebook chatter about problems with interaction between DHA and diabetes or blood thinners. I have both. Is this true? Okay, very good questions. Let's compare krill to fish oil. Okay, krill, look, at the end of the day, Linda, here's what I look for. Okay, krill oil, fish oil, both have DHA, both have EPA. What I look for is how much DHA they have. Okay, so krill oil is good. It's an omega-3. I like what I like, okay? I'm a DHA junkie, okay? Because I have seen clinically the results of high DHA. And there's reasons for it, okay? First of all, DHA, your brain is made up of DHA. There's nothing better. It's the longer chain fatty acid, DHA. EPA is good. DHA is better. Okay? Doesn't mean you don't need both. But, so, krill oil, look at the bottle. How much DHA? Because then you're going to see, or at least will experience the benefits. The higher the DHA, the better it is. That's what is the important thing. Read your labels. Okay? Read your labels. It's, all fish oil is fish oil. You know? All cars are cars. But some are better than other cars. Okay? So that's what I look for. Okay, so that's what I look for. Now, the second question is, Carol was asking about, and so was Linda, does krill oil reduce triglycerides more effectively? No, it all depends on how much DHA is there. Okay, that's really the key in my opinion. Now, EPA too, I like EPA. There's actually a medication out there made from fish oil called Vasipa. Okay, and it's a pharmaceutical grade high EPA. Do I like it? Yeah, but it's $400 a month. Okay, so it's an expensive prescription, but I like the idea of it because it's a fish oil. And it's, you know, how do you get a high DHA, by the way? Okay, very high DHA. It's pharmaceutical grade. It's the way they have to filter the product in order to get that very high DHA. Now, the second question is about side effects. Look, you have to understand that, and I really went into detail, I think, last Friday about this, okay? Because it's going to be asked again and again and again. When you, it's even on the vitamin D label. Why? I really don't know. I understand what the FDA, but even more what Health Canada says. And whenever you get an oil, they always talk about, well, be careful because it can thin your blood. That's not how it operates. Okay, like DHA, okay? Does it thin your blood? Nah, it don't thin your blood. You know what it does? It lubricates your blood vessels. And if you're worried about clotting, the thing you should do for your blood vessels is lubricate. There's not a better oil than DHA to lubricate. The Teflon, like, you know what? You don't really have Teflon, but I call it Teflon-like. You know what happens to blood vessels? They get sticky. And that's how you develop plaque. You lose the Teflon layer. Fish oil, especially high DHA, lubricates. I used to tell my patients, make sure you're taking enough oil that you slide out of rooms, okay? Be slippery. You want your blood vessels to be slippery. So I get it. Health Canada, FDA, whatever. What do? They're always cautious. Look, I get it. Okay? I get it. If they would ask me, I would tell them, man, what are you so worried about? That's really helping. The fish oil helps in a different way. It's like Navitol. Navitol, you know, people, I'm on medication, can I take that? Well, it doesn't interfere with your medication. It just opens up your blood vessels even more. That's called nitric oxide. So when you don't understand how a nitric oxide works, you get, and look, you know, you have to put it on labels. If you want to sell a product in Canada, you got to put your warnings on there. Do I agree with it? No, not really, but okay. So when you see stuff on Facebook or whatever, look, it's difficult for me to talk individually to people because I have such a wide audience. But all I'm doing is giving you general information so that you can make decisions. You know, like, it's just being overly cautious, in my opinion, okay? Because they don't understand how really fish oil operates. It's different than they think. Yeah, it's gonna, you know, you're not gonna clot properly. That's not how it operates. Anyway, thanks for the questions. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Linda. Colleen, why my fingers get splits? They are really painful. I'm missing something in my diet. Well, a couple of things. Usually with nails or even your skin, one of the biggest things is protein, collagen. That's why I love bone broth. I love bone broth for that because it really helps. There's not a better protein in the world than bone broth protein. It's full of collagen. And collagen's good for skin, nails, hair, collagen protein. I love it. Okay? So I'm a big guy on collagen protein. And that's usually with skins. If you get, now you may have too, one of the things that can happen, leaky gut, leaky skin, okay? Make sure that your gut, the microbiome, is healthy. That's really important too, okay? Thanks for the question, Colleen. Very good. And Dale, mushroom blend powders. Yeah. Look, I like mushrooms. Okay, and there's some anti-cancer activities in mushrooms, okay? And I hear about it all the time, but like for me, I'm a repetition guy because I always come back to some basics, okay? There's nothing better for your immune system. Nothing better than vitamin D. So when you talk to me about mushrooms and mushroom powders, am I against it? Nope. But never put it on the top of the food chain compared to vitamin D. Because you are a human solar panel and your immune system, your T cells, have solar panels. T cells are your Navy SEALs of your immune system, and they only work with vitamin D. Okay? So anything, put vitamin D on top. Here's another thing that I'm really big on when it comes to the immune system. Vitamin A. Vitamin A. Okay? That is tremendous. And look, I don't even tell you to take a supplement of vitamin A. In my opinion, I would rather you eat your vitamin A, and you get lots of vitamin A when you eat eggs, meat, and cheese. Vitamin S, steak. Okay? So, mushroom powders, yep. Okay? Chaga, yep. I like it. I got no problem with it. I just think some things are superior to that. Okay? So, thanks for the question, Dale. I really appreciate the question. Suzanne, if you eat a very low carb, low sugar diet and or the reset, but you are under a lot of stress, would the stress be equivalent to eating a high carb and sugar diet? No, wouldn't be. Look, you can never, ever, ever go wrong eating right. You can't go wrong by eating right, okay? And you can never, ever out-supplement, out anything a bad diet. So I'm always big on starting in the kitchen. You want to get healthy, start in the kitchen. Because what you eat is the most important thing, okay? Now, you're asking a very, very good question, Suzanne, because stress is a huge, huge factor. Stress is a huge factor in your health. I call stress the perfect storm, okay? So if you look at the Martin Clinic disease process, how do you go from health to disease? Okay? We talk about 3 main seeds of disease. Okay? 1, leaky gut. 2, high circulating insulin or insulin resistance. And that's food. Leaky gut is partly food. It's your gut health. And 3rd, we talk about oxidation, aging. The apple, cut it in half. What do you see rapidly? Oxidation. The apple gets brown. The apple starts to shrink. It crumples up. It not crumples up, but it loses its good looks. That's what aging is, okay? But premature aging, oxidation, we're all aging. But rapid oxidation is very serious, okay? So those are the 3 seeds of disease. Then you add, that causes, okay, high circulating insulin, leaky gut, and oxidation causes inflammation. Okay? And then what really pours gasoline on the fire is cortisol. It's stress. So, for example, let me give you a couple of examples. A woman gets breast cancer. Okay? Saw thousands over the years cases of that. Breast cancer. And I'm a history guy. And when we saw breast cancer, okay, and I usually saw it when people already were diagnosed, but oftentimes, too, I'm kind of worried about you. Because I used to test for 2 big things, 3 big things when it came to cancer. Insulin, food. Estrogen, hormone. Well, so is insulin. And cortisol, hormone. I tested 3 hormones, and when you had that in perfect combination, insulin, high, estrogen, high compared to progesterone, and cortisol, now you have a perfect storm. Breast cancer. And unfortunately, we have a society, we have a medical system, what we call a healthcare system. It's not healthcare at all, it's disease care. And they wait till you get cancer. They like to talk about early detection, not prevention. So when you ask the question, okay, when you ask the question about stress, okay, Suzanne, it is a huge factor. It's a huge factor. But it doesn't destroy everything you're doing. If you're stressed, you better eat right. You better eat right. And I'm a big guy on vitamin E, exercise, to help reduce stress, to help reduce inflammation. But it's all of the above. The other thing that I used to see a lot was stress. And this is why I talked about adrenal exhaustion. I was one of the first guys, wrote a book a long time ago about chronic fatigue syndrome and stress related, because I call it the modern woman's curse. Chronic fatigue fibromyalgia, not that it couldn't happen to men, but it was almost 95% women. And I'm a why guy. Why? New world. Environmental stress, food stress, and stress. I told a story in my first book, I think, of my mother, 11 kids. Holy jumping. But my mother didn't live in the world that we live today, where the modern woman today, it's much different. Now, that doesn't mean there was no stress. Of course there was, but it wasn't like today. And where you have so much stress. You know, the world, it's almost like it's going around faster than ever, right? And news cycles, 24 hours, news, and, you know, look what we went through as a society in the last couple of years. It's unbelievable the amount of stress that went through. So stress pours gasoline on the fire of inflammation, which is terrible for cancer, terrible for heart disease, terrible for autoimmune, terrible for all these things. But it's not just stress, okay? And stress will not undo a good diet. Take care of yourself, Suzanne. Eat well. Start there. And then work on your stress to lower it, okay? Good question. Thank you. And Tammy, can a hernia be in relation to anemia? Again, look, when I look at hernias, I mean, they're usually old injuries or a hiatus hernia, you know, it could be an injury. It can be just bad digestion for a long time. You know, I don't really look at anemia as, look, anemia can be part of it, I guess, but I wouldn't say it as the cause of it. Anemia is, you know, low B12 anemia or low iron anemia. And usually that's hormonal more than anything else. And I don't see hernias necessarily as being hormonal. Okay? Thanks for the question, Tammy. Wade, how can we evaluate whether the thyroid balance pills are working? Well, that's a good question, but listen. I'm big on thyroid. You guys know this, okay? I'm really emphasized with thyroid symptoms, okay? So, Remember what your thyroid does. It's your metabolism, it's your energy, it's your skin, it does a lot of things, right? Your eyebrows, your hair, thyroid, gaining weight without even thinking about food. So what I would say, Wade, is you look at, and this, I get this almost every day, because people send me a note and they say, Doc, my doctor says my thyroid numbers are not that good, but I feel better. Well, I always say about thyroid, because numbers are not everything with thyroid. As a matter of fact, symptoms, when it comes to your thyroid, are much more important than those numbers. Numbers can be very deceiving when it comes to the thyroid. Now, I have a little secret formula about TSH numbers that I found over the years for me. But at the end of the day, I used to tell my staff, I used to tell patients, I would tell anyone that listened to me, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. If it walks like a thyroid and talks like a thyroid symptoms, it's the thyroid. And I don't care what the numbers are showing, high or low, I don't care. I really don't look at numbers. A little bit I do. But I want to know your symptoms. How are you feeling? Wade, that is the best way to find out. Because, again, go online and look at the reviews on the thyroid formula. People have said, holy moly, I feel better. Okay. And if you're not feeling better, it's not working. As simple as that. To me, it's symptoms, Wade. Okay? It's symptoms over numbers. Not that I don't look at numbers, but it's symptom over numbers. Very good question. We appreciate it, Wade. Okay, Ruth Ann. If your triglycerides and HDL are excellent, very good, how does one work on A1C if it's too high? Well, look, they're very similar in metabolic syndrome. Okay, so high triglycerides and low HDL mean you have metabolic syndrome. Means that it's insulin, it's food. Okay? And when you have metabolic syndrome, 93% of the population do, one of the signs, or two of them, is high triglycerides and low HDL. Why do you think I love looking at those numbers? Now, the other one is A1C. So if your triglycerides have improved and your HDL has improved and your A1C is still too high, you still have insulin resistance. It doesn't mean you're not getting better. It means you got to keep trucking, man. You're not there yet. And some of us have more trouble with insulin and it takes longer. Now look, the reset was meant to fix insulin resistance, okay? And generally, 30 days is what's needed. But for some, Ruth Ann, takes longer. Rome wasn't built in a day for some people, okay? It just takes longer. Stick to it. Stick to the plan. You have no idea, Ruth Ann. You have no idea how good that program is for you. Because doctors don't look at that. A1C has got to be in the high sixes and whatever before they even warn you. No, anything over 5.4 or up means that you got trouble with insulin resistance. That's why I love looking at A1C. I love looking at that. But you got half the battle defeated if your triglycerides and HDL are in good position. Because that really, really helps with your cardio. Big time. Big time with your heart and stroke and lowering those numbers. You don't want low cholesterol. You want high cholesterol. But you want low triglycerides. You want 3 fat balls to go down. And you make triglycerides when you're a junk eater. It's like a teeter-totter, almost for everybody. If your triglycerides are high, your HDL, okay? Triglycerides are high, your HDL will be low. Your HDL is high, your triglycerides will be low, just about guaranteed. And that is manufactured in the liver. What happens in the liver doesn't stay in the liver. It messes you up metabolically. That's why I talk about the poison of fructose. It's a toxic poison. High fructose corn syrup. Okay, so thanks, Ruth Ann, for the question. Really appreciate it. Okay, a few more. Jerry, is silver and magnesium and zinc good for your detox? No. Jerry, magnesium, I love. Zinc, I love. Silver, be careful. Be very careful. I like oil of oregano better than I like colloidal silver, okay? I mean that. I'm not saying silver is no good. Colloidal silver is no good. I'm just saying oil of oregano is better, and it's much safer. And I love zinc. Eat it. Eat your zinc by eating vitamin S, steak. You got a lot of zinc in the animal kingdom. Not in the plants, in the animal kingdom. Zinc, okay? But that's more for your immune system. Not that zinc's not important. The best detox, by the way, keep your liver clean. We talked about it. Get your triglycerides down. Get your HDL up. That means you got a clean liver. And when you got a clean liver, you don't have fatty liver, your liver will do its job in detox. Nothing better. And then I love probiotics for detoxing. Better than magnesium, better than zinc for a detox, and certainly better than silver, colloidal silver. Okay? Okay. Good question. We appreciate it, Jerry. Sharon, what do I think of Lyme disease and CIRS? Well, let me, CIRS is chronic or recurring inflammation. Okay? Now, Lyme disease. Yeah, I used to have a protocol for Lyme disease. By the way, the bacteria, like Lyme disease, when you get really sick from it, was a perfect storm. It was never just a bug bite, okay? It was never just a tick that, you got a bite and then you started the Lyme disease. I often equated Lyme disease with chronic fatigue syndrome. And that can be caused by, you see, usually there's underlying condition. Because if you just get a bite and your immune system is at the top of its game, you're going to do well. You're going to do well. Okay? But if your immune system is compromised, sometimes by mold, sometimes by yeast, a fungal infection, already you have leaky gut with a yeast traveling through your body, compromising your immune system. It's almost like an autoimmune system, autoimmune disease. So what happens is now you're really susceptible to Lyme's and to get really sick from Lyme's. My protocol to help with Lyme's disease or chronic inflammatory recurring condition, I looked at it like it started with leaky gut. It usually started with a yeast infection too. Can come with and they want to treat Lyme's with antibiotics, but that's just a Band-Aid in my opinion. That's not going to fix it. You got to do all of the above and change your diet. And of course, if you're being exposed to mold, you better get out of there. Okay? I'm going to do a program on mold. Okay? I've done a few. I'll do it again because a lot of people suffer from that. They have no idea how damaging mold can be. Okay? And people, mold can be deadly. Okay? Good question, Sharon. Thank you. And Jessica, I think I answered this already. Is stress the worst thing for the body? No, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing, but it sure don't help. Okay? I think the worst thing for your body really is insulin. Insulin resistance. I really do. And stress adds fuel to the fire. Okay? Thanks for those questions. Okay, now. Debbie wanted to know about cacao butter. Did I say cacao? Not cocoa. Cacao. I don't know if I pronounce it right. It's a seed. They make powder from it. They make cacao butter. Do I like it? Yeah, it's all right. I like coffee better. Okay? I like the coffee bean much better. Much better for you. The real vitamin C. Okay? Okay. Guys, thanks for the question, Debbie. Okay? We appreciate it. So guys, thanks for having a great week with me. We appreciate that very, very much. And we love you guys very dearly. We sure appreciate all your questions, and we appreciate all of you guys in our private Facebook group and following us on live Facebook every day, and those who listen to our podcast, The Doctor Is In podcast. We love you guys, and I don't say, yeah, I do say it, but I mean it. Okay, guys, love you. Talk to you soon.